So here we have the graph of soil moisture that we created earlier. We have points for each measurement, as well as a line in the middle that represents the mean. And you can see the mean for one of our treatments is higher than the others, so we think that overall the soil moisture was the highest in no mulch based on these means. But as you can see, there are also lots of data points that are high and low in both, or all three. So what we don't know for sure is if this average shows a real difference, or could it be higher just by random chance. So to do this, we're going to add a standard deviation to our graph. So you can click the ruler icon and check the box for standard deviation. This creates lines above and below the mean that are one standard deviation away. They give us a visual idea of how spread out the data is. As you can see, these are all pretty spread out. If all of our measurements were really close together, like if all the no mulch were similar and straw mulch was similar, these lines would be really close. Might be somewhere like here rather than all the way down here. Much more narrower rectangles is what we would see. If the deviation is small, it means there's not much random variation. So if this rectangle is really skinny, it means there's not much variation. If they're really big and spread out, it means there was a lot of variation. If the lines overlap, if our big rectangles here are overlapping, that could mean that there isn't a real difference between them. If there's lots of space in between, that would mean that our results are more likely to be real. So let's take a look at the soil moisture data we have here from fall of 2020. And what we see is all of these are overlapping. These two rectangles are almost the same. And this one is generally higher, but look at all that overlap there, almost a whole standard deviation of overlap. And ideally, there would be lots of space in between, even multiple standard deviations, so multiple of these distances away. So this means our data probably wasn't statistically significant. We can't be sure that there was a real difference here in the soil moisture, and chances are if we collected more data, they might still just be the same. So go ahead and just add a standard deviation into your soil moisture graph to see if the differences in yours are real or not, and do the same thing for plant growth. So when we do have standard deviations like this that overlap, and we find out our results aren't statistically significant, this doesn't mean we did something wrong or that this data is bad. It just maybe means we need more data, or maybe it means that there was no difference between these treatments, and that's all okay too. So go ahead and try it out with your data and think about if your results are likely to be real or more due to just random chance.